Handicapper Steve here, handicapping the racing from Royal Ascot here on Thursday. It is June the 21st, 2018. I'm going to look at all the races on today's program from Ascot, but before I get on to that, remember to please follow me on Twitter at HorseRacingKid5 for more selections for race courses around the world, and I mean it around the world. It's an excellent card of racing today from Ascot. So far, it's, this card looks very, very promising. I think you're going to see some nice prices come in. Wednesday's card, that looks like a lot of favorites are going to win, but here, this looks like a very, it looks like a very nice card. For us North America players, they're going to be offering a pick four on the first four races, and that's very hittable, and I'll give you a ticket out for that. But we have 6 races to look at. Let's get on to it, starting off with the 230, the first race from Ascot. The 230, it's the Group 2 Norfolk Stakes. It's a Group 2 race for Class 1 horses, going for a purse of $135,000. That's in the American currency, so don't get confused. It's racing for 2-year-olds only. Field of 10 horses going the 1,000-meter dash, or the distance of ground of 5 furlongs on the turf course. My top selection here, I like the 4-horse Cone Check. I'm going to go 4, 9, 10 in the tricast of the trifecta. 4, 9, 10, tricast, trifecta. I'm going to use all 4 of those horses in my pick 4 to start it off. Unfortunately, I believe the pick 4 is only offered to us North America players, and if it is offered to the European players, play it. But like I said, it's very hittable today, I think, and I think you can throw out a few favorites. We'll get to that in a little bit. But this race, it's one of the most wide open races of the pick 4 here. My top selection of 4-horse I like a lot. Cone Check 9-2. Adam Kirby's on this Clive Cox trained 2-year-old colt by Lethal Force. This horse's most recent outing came at Sandown, 24th of May. It was rated good the ground, but it was on the softer side of good. 5 furlongs in a 2-year-old listed stakes. This horse finished third by a neck. It was an all-out finish, and this horse just missed at the end, but he ran a very respectable race that day. The format of that race doesn't look half bad, because it was a tough race, I think. Before that, this horse ran at Newmarket, 6th of May, during Guineas weekend. 5 furlongs in a Class 3 maiden race for the 2-year-olds. This horse just had a very nice quickening up, won by 1 3/4 lengths, and it was just a very easy race for this horse. Off of the 2 offerings this horse has had, he's run 2 very good races. I think here, at 9-2, it's not the best price in this race, but I think you're going to have to take it. Watch out for this horse today. Another horse I like is the 9-horse Vintage Brut. David Allen's on this Tim Easterby trained 2-year-old colt here. This horse 5-1. He's breaking from the outside here, though, but he's coming out of that same Sandown race on the 24th of May. 5 furlongs, Class 1 listed stakes. He won that day by a neck. He just got there in the front in that all-out finish. He ran a very good race there, and then his first outing at Thirsk a month earlier, 21st of April. 5 furlongs, Class 5 main race. He put on a show. He won by 7 lengths at 25-1. He just destroyed that very subpar field, but it was still a very good race. He's proven he could run. I think here today, even from the outside, at 5-20, you don't want to keep him off your pick 4 ticket. Along with the 10-horse, the Wesley Ward trained Shang. Joel Rosario's on this 2-year-old filly by Shanghai Bobby. The filly taking on the boys. With that being said, she does get a little bit of a break weight. She's carrying 124 pounds. The rest are carrying 127 pounds. With a little break, I think she could really run a big one. Her only start came at Keeneland, 26th of April, 4.5 furlongs, 900 meters in the main special weight. This horse won by 2 1/4 lengths, even from a wide postra. This horse just quickened up nicely and had a very, very impressive victory. An all-around great race. Since then, she's been training at Keeneland very nicely. She's definitely a very fast horse. I think she's the fastest on paper here, and if she could get I think she could go wire to wire, or gate to wire, whatever you want to call. I like this horse a lot. 2-1. She's a horse you definitely want on your ticket. Also, Wesley Ward is the a good 2-year-old champion early on in the season, so watch out for this horse here today also. But to recap my bets for the first race now from Ascot, the 230, it's the Group 2 Norfolk Stakes. As a top selection here, I'll give you the 4-horse Cone Check. I'm going to go 4, 9, 10 in the tricast of the trifecta. I'll go 4, 9, 10 also in my pick 4. So now let's get on to race number 2 from The second race from Ascot, the 305, it's the Group 3 Hampton Court Stakes. It's a Group 3 race for Class 1 horses going for a purse of $121,500. This race is for 3-year-olds only. Field of 16 horses going the 2,000-meter trip or a mile and a quarter on the turf course. My top selection in this race, I think Godolphin's going to win, but which horse are they going to win with? I think it's going to be the 10-horse Nordic Lights. I'm going to go 10-5-2 in the TriCast or the trifecta. 10-5-2 TriCast trifecta, and for that pick 4, I'm going to use 10-5. Those are the two horses I really like. But if I had to give you a top selection, it would be the 10-horse Nordic Lights. Godolphin Doan, Charlie Appleby trains. James Doyle gets the leg up on the Strio Colt. You know, this horse has run 3 times, and all 3 times he's run well. His last race was probably his worst race, but he did run decently. That came at York on the 17th of May. Mile and a quarter in the Group 2 Dante. This horse finished 5th by 6 1/4 lengths behind Roaring Lion, who ran the best race to date so far for him. And then he went on to run in the Epsom Derby, and he ran quite well there also. But this horse, he just never really got into it. He didn't run half bad, but he just needed that little extra kick there. I think with a little bit step down in class, this horse should really run well, even with a wide barrier post draw. Before that, he ran on the 19th of April at Newmarket during the Craven meeting, a mile and a quarter in a Class 4 novice race. Even with a heavy weight of 135 pounds, this horse won by 2 lengths, and he just had a very nice victory there. First start in 7 weeks. 7 weeks earlier at Lingfield, a mile and a quarter in a Class 5 novice race. This horse won by a length, and again, he just had a very nice, easy victory from the front end. All around decent effort. This horse, like I said, this horse has run 3 times, and he's run pretty nicely all 3 times. I think, at 6-1, this is a horse that could really get a piece of it, so watch out for him. Another horse I'll be using in my pick 4 is going to be the 5-horse Key Victory. He's at 4-1 here. 4-1 here. Breaking from barrier number 10. Charlie Appleby trains. William Buick gets leg up. This horse ran in the Group 1 Prix du Jockey Club at Chantilly a few weeks ago. Mile and a quarter, June the 3rd. Basically the French Derby. This horse finished 8th by 3 1/4 lengths that day. And, Study of Man just had a very good turn of foot at the end. This horse, he just never really quickened up. It wasn't his day to win. I think with a massive step down in class, this horse should really be on the improve. Before that, he ran on the 5th of May at Newmarket, mile and a quarter in Class 1 listed stakes. This horse won by 1 1/4 lengths and beat a quite good group of 8 horses that day. He just quickened up nicely and won there. Very nice race for this horse. And then on the 25th of October at Newmarket, 7 furlongs on the Rolly Mile in a Class 4 novice race. This horse won by length. It was the 7-2 third choice, and again, he just had a very nice victory. If you throw that Prix du Jockey Club race out, he's run quite well in the past. With a massive step down in class, I also think this horse could get a piece of it. At 4-1, not the best price, but I think you're going to have to use this horse on your pick 4. So to recap my bets for today's second race from Ascot, it's the 305. It's the Group 3 Hampton Court Stakes. As a top selection, I'm going to use the 10-horse Nordic Lights. I'm going to go 10-5-2 in the TriCast or the trifecta. I'll go 10-5 in my pick 4. So now let's get on to race number 3 from Ascot. The 340, the third race from Royal Ascot. It's the Group 2 Ribblesdale Stakes. It's a Group 2 race for Class 1 horses going for a purse of $270,000. This race is for 3-year-old fillies only. Field of 10 horses going the 2,400-meter trip or 1 mile and 1/2 on the turf course. My top selection here, I like the 7-horse Perfect Clarity. I'm going to go 7-1-3-6. That's my top 4. This is a very wide open race, and I'm going to go 4 deep in this one for my pick 4. 7-1-3-6. I think any of those 4 could really win. The first horse I'll be talking about is my top selection of the 7-horse Perfect Clarity. 10-1 here. 3-year-old filly by Nathaniel. Adam Kirby's on this Clive Cox train. 3-year-old filly by Nathaniel. This horse's most recent outing came about 3 weeks ago now at Epsom. Soft ground, 1.5 miles, 2,400 meters in the Group 1 Investa Oaks. This horse finished 7th by 18 lengths that day and was just never into it. That was a very tough race. I think with a massive step down in class, this horse should just run a little bit better. Before that, this horse ran the 12th of May at Lingfield. Firm ground, 2,400 meters about 1.5 miles in the Oaks trial they had there. This horse won by 1 1/4 lengths, and at 5-1, this horse just had a very good quickening up, and it was a good effort for this horse there. And then for start before you have to go all the way back to last last August at Nottingham, 1 mile in Class 5 novice race. Horse won by 1/4 lengths. Another very easy victory there. If you throw out the Oaks, this horse has run quite well in the past. With a good post right here today, I think this horse could get a piece of it at 10-1. Watch out. Another horse I like here is the one horse Wild Illusion. 2-1. William Buick is on this Charlie Appleby train. 3-0 filly by DeBowie. This horse could definitely get the trip of 1.5 miles, no problem about it. Just the problem is, will this horse have some traffic trouble? This horse's most recent outing came in the Oaks a few weeks ago at Epsom, 1.5 miles on soft ground. This horse finished second by 4.5 lengths and just couldn't get there at the end. Further together with Donick O'Brien, just ran a little bit of a better race. This horse, wasn't going to catch the winner. Before that, in the 1,000 Guineas at Newmarket, 1 mile, May the 6th, horse finished fourth by 2 3/4 lengths. The 1,000 Guineas this year was a very weird race. I don't know how to get the form out of that race because this horse, he just never really quickened up. It was the horse's first start since the fall, but I just don't think it was the best race of the year so far. And then before that, in the Shunti on Arc weekend, October the 1st, 1 mile Shunti Group 1 pre Marcel Boussac Stakes. This horse won by 1.5 lengths, and at 25-1 the upset, this horse just ran a hell of a race. And then before that, Shunti 1 mile in the Group 3 Prix de Mole Stakes. Horse finished third by a length. He just needed that run. He wasn't really accustomed to the race, getting into it, but I think today with firm ground, 2-1, this horse should run a big one. Problem is, this horse is 2-1, so there's no value with this one. But another horse I think can run a big one is a 3-horse Dancing Brave Bear, 10-1 here. Andre Tazzini is on this one. This horse's most recent outing came in the Musadora Stakes at York a few weeks ago, 1.25 miles, May the 16th. This horse ran second by a length, and for this horse's first start in a few weeks, this horse just had a very good run. I think she quickened up nicely. Wasn't a bad race. Before that, Chelmsford, 1 mile in a Class 5 fillies novice race. His horse won by a length there. And at 57 cents a dollar, first start since December. Again, she just had a very nice victory there with heavyweight. And then at Lingfield last December, 7 furlongs, Class 5 fillies novice. Horse won by a length at 20-1. This horse just had a very good run. 3 races in, this horse has run 3 good races. And I think here at 10-1, getting the 1.5 miles, watch out for this horse running a big one at the end. Along with the 6-horse Magic Wand. Ryan Moore's on this one for Aidan O'Brien and the Coolmore Group. 3-0 filly by Galileo. This horse ran in the Oaks a few weeks ago at Epsom, 1.5 miles, June the 1st. This horse finished fourth by 11 lengths, and he just kind of, never really quickened up. This is the kind of horse I think with drier ground should really run a big one, but, the stablemate just ran a little bit of a better race. But before that, at Chester, mile 3, it's 2,200 meters in a Class 1 listed stakes. This horse did everything right, had the speed from the inside, and this horse just walked that day, won by 3.5 lengths. It was an all-around decent effort for this horse. And then at Leopardstown in mid-April, heavy ground, almost waterlogged, 1.25 miles in filly's main race. Horse finished third by 6.5 lengths, never really got into it. But this horse, again, with dry ground, I think this horse could run a big one. 5-1, not the best prices, but, watch out for her. Like I said, for us North America players and the pick 4 they're offering, this is a race, this is going to be the race you're going to see it's very a hard race to get your head around, I think. So I'll use all 4 of those in the pick 4. For each way wagers, I'm definitely going to use the 7-horse Perfect Clarity. And if you don't know what an each way wager, for us Americans that don't know it, it's basically win place. So like we would say across the board for win place show, across the pond they say each way. So, I would do an each way wager on the 7-horse Perfect Clarity. And, I would see maybe on, see on the other horses if their odds go up very nice. Maybe I'll do a small each way wager on some of those horses also, but definitely the 7-horse Perfect Clarity is going to get an each way, and the other ones will be used in my pick 4. So to recap my bets for today's third race from Ascot, the 340, it's the Group 2 Ribblesdale Stakes. As a top selection here, I like the 7-horse Perfect Clarity. I'm going to go 7-1-3-6, 7-1-3-6 in my pick 4 also. I might do a exacta box all 4 horses or a forecast box all 4 horses and see what happens. So now let's get on to race number 4, the 420 from Ascot. The 420, the fourth race from Royal Ascot. It's the feature race of the afternoon. It's the Group 1 Gold Cup. It's a Group 1 race for Class 1 horses going for a purse of $675,000. This race is for 4-year-olds and upwards. Field of 9 horses staying the distance of ground of 4,000 meters or the distance of ground of 2 miles and 1/2 on the turf course. It's a very nice race here, and I think there's a very, very vulnerable favorite in this race. I think Order of St. George is, I don't think he's that good to win this race, so I won't be using him on my pick 4. I'll use him at the end of a tricast. I think he could get third, but not to win. I think my top selection is actually a lot better horse than Order of St. George. My top selection is going to go to the 6 horse Vizierabad. Like I said, I just think he's a lot better horse than Order of St. George. I'm going to go 692 in the tricast of the trifecta. 692 tricast trifecta. I'll go 69 in my pick 4. But to tell you the truth, also, I might play 2 pick 4 tickets, and I'm going to probably single Vizierabad, the 6 horse, on one of the tickets, and then on the expensive ticket go 2 deep. The expensive ticket's going to cost about $48, somewhere around there, maybe $40. It's something, it's somewhat affordable for a dollar. But as a top selection here, I like the 6 horse Vizierabad. Christophe Soumillon is on the 6-year-old gelding here. This horse is probably, I think, one of the best stayers in the world at the moment. His most recent outing came out on 27th of May at Longchamp, yielding ground 3,000 meters at miles 7/8 in the Group 2 Pre-Vocum-Tessie Stakes. I probably said it wrong, just part of that. For the horse's first start off a laugh, and even with heavy weight, this horse won by a neck. He had a decent turn of foot there, and he just won very nicely. Marmello, who finished second, actually ran this weekend at York and won very nicely. This horse, he just had a good race for his first start back. Before that, in the Group 2 Dubai Gold Cup at Meydan, 2 miles on World Cup night, this horse won by a length, and he just, again, had a very good turn of foot to get the victory. An all-around decent effort. This horse won the Dubai Gold Cup 3 years in a row. From 2016, he won it in 2017, and he won it in 2018, which is just impressive. He's a master at staying. And then before that, this horse ran at Meydan, mile 3/4 in the Natal Sheba Trophy. The horse's first start of the year, I've noticed, looking over his form guide, is not his best race. He finished second by 1 3/4 lengths behind Rare Rhythm, who I believe is a Godolphin horse. But this horse there, even for finishing second, he ran a decent effort. He fought a very good race. Wasn't a bad race there. And then the Group 1 Pre-Royal Oak at St. Cloud last October, mile 7/8. This horse finished second by 1/4 lengths behind Ice Breeze. This horse just couldn't get that good closing kick, but he ran a decent effort there also. And then his last time running the 4,000-meter trip, or 2 miles and a half at Chantilly last September in the Prix du Cojon. This horse won by a half length, and he just had a very easy race there. And then before that, in the Prix Gladiator at Chantilly, he won by 3/4 of a length. Another easy effort. I like this horse a lot here. 9-2. Just watch out for him to run a big one. Like I said, Order of St. George is a very, very beatable horse in this race. He's getting bet into the ground, and I just have a feeling he's just getting beat today, so watch out. Another horse, if Vizierabad doesn't show up, I think a horse that could really run a big one is the 9 horse Stradivarius. 4-year-old colt by See the Stars. Frankie Dettori's on this one for John Gowson. This horse ran in the Yorkshire Cup a few weeks ago at York, a mile 3/4, May the 18th. This horse won by 3 lengths, and at 67 cents to the dollar, first start since last October. This horse just ran a very easy race. Could have won by more, but, Frankie Dettori didn't want to kill the horse. A good race for this horse there. Before that, here at Ascot last October, 2 miles, 3,200 meters in the Group 2 British Champions Long Distance Cup. This horse finished third by a length behind Order of St. George. He got going a little bit late, but he just needed that extra kick, which I think he should really like today with the extra half furlong, or half mile. And then before that, in St. Ledger at Doncaster, a mile 13/16. He finished third by half length. It was an all-out finish. He ran a good effort there. And then the Goodwood Cup, he won by 1 3/4 lengths, facing older horses for the first time. A very nice race. This horse ran here at Ascot last year by winning the Queen's Vase very nicely, and I just think here today this horse should run a big one also. If Vizierabad doesn't show up, I'll use him on my pick 4 also, but as an each-way wager, he's a little bit too short for me. But to recap my bets for today's 4th race from Royal Ascot, it's the feature race of the afternoon. It's Group 1 Gold Cup. I'm going to go as a top selection, the 6 horse Vizierabad. I'm going to go 6-9-2 in the tricast of the trifecta. I'll go 6-9 in my pick 4 to end it off. So now let's get on to race number 5. The 5th race, to 5 o'clock from Royal Ascot. It's the Britannia Stakes. It's a Class 2 handicap going for a purse of $162,000. This race is for 3-year-olds, colts and geldings only, which are rated 0 to 105. We have a field of 33 horses going the distance of ground of 1,600 meters or the straight 1 mile on the turf course. My top selection here, don't have a top selection. I'll give you 3 horses that I think can win. I'll do a small each wager on all 3 of them. The 3 horses I like in this race are the 16-horse Curiosity, the 24-horse here Sam Gold, and the 29-horse here Ostilio. The first horse we're talking about is the number 16-horse Curiosity. 15 to 1 here. James McDonald is on this Hugo Palmer trained 3-year-old gelding by High Chaparral. This horse's most recent outing came about 7 or so weeks ago at Newmarket, May the 5th, a mile in a Class 2 handicap. The horse's first start of the year. This horse finished second by a neck, and, you know, he wasn't going to catch the winner, I don't think, but he ran a good effort off the break, first off the break. I think here second off the layoff. You know, with I like the wide posture with this horse. I just think he can run a very good race. Before that, he ran the 8th of September at Newcastle. 1 mile in a Class 2 nursery handicap. This horse finished 7th by 8 lengths, and I think the high weight got to him. He just never really quickened up, and he kind of weakened out of it there. And then a Goodwood, 7 furlongs in the Vintage Stakes. This horse finished 6th by 12 lengths, and he kind of weakened out of it. But his last victory came here at Ascot last July. 7 furlongs in a Class 4 novice auction. This horse won by a half length, and he just had a very nice victory. Something I noticed about here at the race course at Ascot, horses that win here love running here, and with that win, you know, he just looked very nice. I just think here, second off the layoff, with a good weight, I think this horse get a piece of it at 15 to 1. Watch out. Another horse I like here is the 24-horse Sam Gold. Andrea Attazzini is on this Roger Varian trained 3-year-old colt. You know, this horse's most recent outing came 3 weeks ago now, the 2nd of June at Doncaster. Soft ground, 1 mile in a Class 4 handicap. This horse won by 2.5 lengths, and he ran a quick mile that day, I think. He just had a very good, easy quickening up, and it was an all-around decent effort for this horse, second off the break. Before that, first off the layoff at Newmarket, 1 mile in a Class 2 handicap. He finished 3rd by 3 lengths behind Curiosity, who's run back in this one, my other horse. This horse, he just kind of you know, he just kind of stayed. He kind of hung. He didn't quicken up, but he didn't weaken out of it either. He just stayed. And then before that, Nottingham yielding ground, 1 mile in a Class 4 maiden race. Horse finished second by 3/4 length. You know, he closed up well in the final few strides of the race. It wasn't a bad outing there. I think a horse today, with this horse getting firmer ground, he should really like it. With a decent post draw, I think he could run a big one, so watch out. Another horse I like to talk about here is the number 29 horse Ostilio. Sylvester de Sousa is on this one for Simon Crisford. 3-year-old colt by New Approach. This horse's most recent outing came on the 17th of May at Newmarket. Firm ground, 1 mile, 1,600 meters in a Class 4 handicap. This horse won by 2 3/4 lengths and had the speed from the inside, and he just put on a show. A very nice victory for this horse there. Before that, this horse ran at Yarmouth, 1 mile in a Class 5 novice race. This horse finished second by 6 lengths, and at 3 to 1, he lost to Without Parole, who just ran a hell of a race that day. Ran a good race next start out Sandown, and then ran a hell of a race Tuesday. This horse, you know, he was just second best there, and then before that, at Lingfield, 1 mile to Class 5 novice race, horse finished second by a half length, 80 cents to the dollar. He didn't have the best of runs there. He just kind of, you know, he just was tripped up a little bit. You know, a little traffic. It just wasn't his day to win. But he has some, you know, he's run against some very tough horses here. Well, he's run against very tough horses in the past. And I think here, this race is not nearly as tough. And with a good weight, I just think this horse should really run a big one. At 15, at a very nice odds, I think he can run a big one. So watch out. So to recap my bets for today's 5th race from Royal Ascot, the 5 o'clock, it's the Britannia Stakes. It's part of the Heritage Handicap. The 3 horses I like here are going to be the 16-horse Curiosity, the 24-horse here Sam Gold, and the 29-horse here Ostilio. I'm going to do a small each-way wager on all 3 of them. So those numbers were 16, 24, and 29. So now let's get on to race number 6, the 5:35 from Ascot. The nightcap from Royal Ascot, the sixth race to 5:35. It's the King George V Stakes. It's a Class 2 handicap going for a purse of $121,500. This race is for 3-year-olds only, rated 0 to 105. Field of 21 horses, but only 19 can go, so the 20 and 21 are also eligibles or reserves. 19 horses go to post, distance of ground of 2,400 meters or a mile and 1/2 on the turf course. My top selection here, I like the 2-horse cross counter. I'm going to go 2-13-4 in the tricast of the trifecta. 2-13-4 tricast trifecta. As a top selection, I like the 2-horse cross counter. 7-1 here, the 3-year-old filly here by Telefio. Charlie Appleby trained. William Buick gets the leg up. This horse's most recent outing came on the 7th of June, which was 2 weeks ago now at Sandown, a mile and a quarter in Class 5 novice race, facing older horses there for the first time. This horse finished second by 2 3/4 lengths. He was carrying a heavy weight of 141 pounds there, and he ran his heart out. He wasn't going to catch the winner, but he ran a decent effort. I think here carrying 9 less pounds. I just think this horse should run a lot better of a race. 141 pounds was a hell of a lot of weight, especially for the horse's first start off a pretty long layoff of 6 months. 6 months earlier, 22nd of January, Wolverhampton, mile 3/16 in the Class 5 novice race. His horse won by 8 lengths and at 44 cents to the dollar with 135 pounds. He just quickened up nicely and had a very easy victory there. And then a month earlier at Wolverhampton, mile in the 8th, 1,800 meters in a 2-year-old Class 5 novice race. Horse won by 2 1/4 lengths. Again, wide poster, which you don't want to be wide at Wolverhampton. This horse just won very nicely. He's run 3 very good races here. He's getting the 1.5 miles, which I don't think should be a problem for this horse. At 7-1, I think he can run a big one. A little bit of a price play to end it off. I like the 13 horse also, Cassini. He's at 12-1 here. Robert Haviland's on this one for John Gosden. This horse's most recent outing came on the 4th of June at Windsor, so 2.5 weeks ago now. 1.25 miles in a Class 5 novice race. Facing older horses there for the first time also. He won by 1 1/4 lengths. And as the 1-2 favorite, he just quickened up nicely and just held on there. Very nice victory there. Start before it came on the 15th of September at Sandown, a mile in a Class 5 novice. Horse finished third by 3 lengths. Even with that wide poster, he did run a decent effort there. You don't want to be wide at Sandown, but this horse, he did run well at the end. And then Sandown in mid-August, 1 mile Class 5 maiden race. Horse finished third by 2 1/4 lengths. He just kind of weakened out of it in the final few strides of the race. Just couldn't keep up with him on soft ground. I think with firmer ground, he should really do well. At 12-1, he's a bit of a price play for me in this race. Watch out for him also. So to recap my bets for today's 6th race from Royal Ascot, the 5:35, it's the King George V Stakes. As a top selection, like the 2-horse cross counter, I'm going to go 2-13-4 in the tricast or the trifecta. I'm going to do an each way wager on 2 and 13. So good luck to all. Please follow me on Twitter at HorseRacingKid5 for more selections for race courses around the world, and join me tomorrow for more Royal Ascot preview. Good luck.